Here from 97.1 The Ticket, and we're with Jack Morris, the workhorse, what they used to call you. Did you ever resent that name or nickname, or is that pretty much what you were?
Well, I guess I had a face for a horse, so somebody, I took the ball. That's what I guess that's what it all meant, and I'm proud of that. I wanted to be out there. That was my job.
Right. In the 1980s, you're the best pitcher in baseball, and you're not in the Baseball Hall of Fame. For a lot of us here in Detroit, that's an injustice. What do you think about that whole thing, and do you deserve to be in the Baseball's Hall of Fame?
Well, you're putting me in an awkward position to say that. I think I deserve to be in based on, people that have accomplished similar things, but it's not up to me. I don't get to vote. You don't get to vote. It's in other people's hands, and obviously there's a little bit of discrepancy amongst them. I think I've gained momentum, and there's still an outside chance I can make it in there. But I think the one thing that over the last few years has become evident is the writers are becoming like me. They're passionate. They're either on my side or they're not.
Right.
And it's hard to get them to jump across the board one way or the other.
But that whole 1984 team, which, that's the team that most Tiger fans identify with more than 1968 because it was obviously more recent. It doesn't seem that they're getting credit for what they did as far as the Hall of Fame. Do you agree with that aspect too?
Well, none of us are in. And yet we were a team that did quite well during that era over all of baseball. We beat the Yankees more than anybody else, and won the World Series in '84. We're in the playoffs in '87. So, it was a team that accomplished a lot of good things. Our start in our overall record in '84 was one of the best teams of all time. So, I think there's, it's just my opinion, but I think there's several guys that deserve to be in the Hall of Fame from that team, but the writers have not recognized that yet.
Right. When Justin Verlander was coming up, they compared him to you. What does he have that other guys don't? What makes him Justin Verlander as opposed to a very good pitcher?
Well, God blessed him with some talent that most people never see, and last year I'm very proud of him. Last year he finally brought all that talent and kind of put it all together, and the rewards came his way because of what he accomplished. He went out there and dominated, and he had that kind of stuff for the last 6 years, in my opinion. But it takes a while sometimes for a guy to get it all clicking. It took me a while. I wasn't anywhere close to talent-wise that Justin has. I didn't have his fastball. I didn't have his curveball. I had, I think, a little bit better concentration, and that'll come to him. I think I had quite a bit better determination, but then he and I would have to wrestle around the room to decide that between us, and that's what I love about him, because he is a competitor and he loves to win, and I think this is just the tip of the iceberg for him.
You ever give him advice? You ever talk to him as a veteran pitcher?
I talked to him last spring, and I've talked to him several times in the past, but I'm not taking any credit for what he's done. He went out there and did it himself. And pitchers have to do that. You can talk till you're blue in the face, but ultimately, when it's your turn to do something about the game, you have to do that. And he did that last year, and I give him all the credit in the world for what he accomplished.
One other thing, this town is a buzz because of the signing of Prince Fielder, and obviously with Cabrera and all those guys, it's a very loaded middle lineup. What do you think of this team, and what do you think of their chances of winning the World Series this year?
Well, it's a long summer, and that's the negative end of it. I'm just trying to be optimistic in a sort of realistic way, and that, I got to believe that they're favored in the Central. The question is, and in my mind, the Western Division is stronger than the Eastern Division this year. So I think overall, the biggest question the Tigers have is how solid will their defense be. They got two great pitchers, Pfister and Verlander. They got a pretty solid bullpen. The question is, with Miguel at third base and the bad idea of putting Inge at second, which I don't like, how strong will their defense be? And they got to catch the ball and get outs. And I think they're gonna score plenty of runs. They're going to bang the ball around as good as anybody. But you don't want to have to go out there every night to score 10 runs to win a game.
Jack Morris, I want to thank you for joining us and also for the service of the 1980s. It gave a lot of thrills to Tiger fans here, so it's good seeing you back here in Detroit.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, take care, Jack.
You too.